Hey, my happy shiny puppies in training. This is Melody Fletcher, author of Deliberate Receiving. Finally, the universe makes some freaking sense. And I am coming to you from the road today. I am in the lap of absolute luxury in the Madikwe Private Reserve in South Africa. It's a game reserve in South Africa, and it's an absolute 5-star experience. And I want to talk to you today about how this came to be, how I managed to manifest something so amazing into my life, and how this entire year has really been an absolute just mind-blowing experience, one after the other, and something that I've discovered about how to shift your energy into a space where these kinds of experiences aren't just something that happen once in a lifetime, but that happen again and again and again. So most people, when they start focusing on creating their own reality and they start to seek out the law of attraction and the kind of work that I do, they're focusing on creating something specific in their life. So they want to create money, they want a better job, they want to have a great relationship. But usually it's all about fixing something. Usually it's all about, I want money in my life so that I can pay off these bills, or so that I can create these kinds of experiences in my life. I want a better job because I hate my job. I want an amazing relationship because I hate my relationship, or because I'm tired of being single and lonely. And that's all fine and good. And if that's where you are, then that's where you start. But once you kind of start to get the gist of noticing what you don't want and noticing what you want instead, and then going for that, lining up with the feeling of what you want, lining up with the feeling of already having it accomplished, and then having those things come in, that's not the end of that. A lot of people think that that's the goal. Let me just fix my life, let me get rid of all the pain, and then I'll be done. But that's just half of the equation. There's this whole other side to it. There's this whole other part of the spectrum. If you read my book, you'll know about the spectrum. But there's this whole other part to this that most people completely miss. And that's once you kind of got rid of the big pain points in your life, you have enough food, you have shelter, you no longer feel like every day's hell, and you're starting to kind of ride that awesomeness wave. You want to take your focus off of the specifics, off of the idea of fixing something, off of the idea of creating something because it's the opposite of what you don't want. Your life doesn't have to be completely empty of things that you don't want in order for you to do this, by the way. You can actually start to do this anytime. It's just that most people have a hard time doing it if there's things that are still really painful in their lives. It doesn't mean that they can't do this. It just means that it can be difficult for them. But if they could give themselves permission to do this, then their lives would open up all the faster. But either way, do work with where you are and what works for you. But what I've discovered is that when I take my focus off of any kind of specifics, which I've been doing for quite some time now, and I just open myself up to desires that aren't about fixing anything, then my energy opens up all the more, and amazing experiences start to come in that I could have never ever orchestrated. So for example, I might want to create the concept of freedom in my life. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not free currently. I can have lots of freedom in my life and experience a great deal of freedom in my life, and yet still want to take that further. So that looks something like this. Instead of creating freedom in terms of freedom from something, freedom from a place of feeling trapped, I can create freedom on a level of being able to be free in every moment, to float through life, to be fully present, to completely and totally express myself in the most creative way possible with no limitations. So it isn't about fixing something in terms of bringing freedom in to a situation that doesn't have any. It's about taking freedom to a whole different level. Or like, going on safari in Africa has been on my bucket list for years and years and years, probably decades. And yet it isn't something that I sat down anytime recently and thought about with any specifics, or even thought I was going to make happen. It was always something that I was happy to let happen one day. And so what happened is that I didn't really think about it, but I've been focusing on feeling good. I've been focusing on what kinds of experiences I want to have and what that feels like in very general terms, ultra general terms. So just focusing on what adventure feels like, focusing on what awesomeness feels like, and being as present as I can every day. And in that state of receptivity, receiving, in that state, more and more awesomeness comes in. This has been the year that I have crossed more items off my bucket list than at any other time. I did a TED Talk earlier this year that I will share as soon as it's finished editing, I promise. And I'm not in charge of that. I keep checking on it, but it's not quite done yet. But that was an absolute bucket list item, and that just came to me. I didn't have to work for that. I didn't have to orchestrate it. It just came together. Going on safari in Africa. I am here now. This trip was thrown together for me. I didn't have to do anything to organize it. It's an absolute 5-star experience. I was flown here on a private jet, which again, another bucket list item to fly in a private plane. And the entire trip has been just an absolute dream, including an over 30-hour trip to get here. And you know, if you can believe that, it's been an absolute dream the entire way, just 5-star service all along. And I didn't even have to pay for it. I didn't have to make it happen. It just fell in my lap and was all done for me and just found me. And my life seems to be turning into a series of these kinds of awesome experiences, one after the other, and I'm not telling you this to brag or to say, look at how great my life is. I'm telling you this because my life hasn't always been like this, and it's something that you can orchestrate, because I'm not special in any way. I don't have talents that you don't have. It's something that you can orchestrate, but it's something that you orchestrate incrementally, and it's something that you have to do deliberately. If you're not one of these amazingly talented people where that happens naturally to you. But it's something that you can do, and this is one of the ways in which you do it. Is you open up your energy and you go ahead and focus just on awesomeness and let that come. Now, again, work with where you are. So if right now your life, you know, it feels more comfortable for you and it feels safer for you to still be in fix-it mode, then that's okay. But if you've already started to get some momentum going and things are going pretty well, and it doesn't mean that you have anything unwanted in your life, but maybe you're just not in ultra pain anymore, then try opening up to just the very general feelings that you want. For example, adventure, or things being really, really easy, or clarity, or awesomeness, and find a way to generate those feelings within you, and then be as present as you can at all times, and you will be amazed at what comes into your life. It's just like walking through an awesome, awesome, awesome dream, and being aware of what's happening and being able to appreciate every second of every day. So hopefully I have been able to inspire you a little bit with this video, to just give it a try, and to the idea that what you want can not only come to you, but what can come to you can far surpass what you thought you wanted, and you can recognize that you actually wanted it without having had to define it, which is the most awesome place to be, you guys. Oh my God. And I just got to say, this hotel it's kind of a hotel where I am, it is the bomb. We arrived, like I said, we flew in with a private plane, then we were taken here in these like safari trucks that I've only ever seen in the movies. We got here, then all of the staff from the house, who are amazing people, stood out front and sang for us, and really, really well, and welcomed us with drinks, and the place is absolutely amazing. The food is gourmet. We went out this morning. I got to see a lion, super up close, and I will share more about that in another video. We got to see zebras and giraffes and eagles and impalas and all kinds of animals, elephants. Oh, elephants! And we're getting really up close to these animals. They're not afraid of the trucks, and we get to get close enough to them to take amazing pictures and to really feel their energy. And it is unbelievable being here and soaking up this origin energy and talking to amazing people from South Africa who are they are so open-hearted and so full of love, and I mean, I would not, blame them one bit if they were full of hatred and kicked us all out of the country. But they are so open and full of love and just so full of healing. It is unbelievably healing for me to be here. So I'll see if I could do another video, because I don't want to make this one too long, on my experiences that I'm having with the wildlife and the energy that I'm feeling here. And I also had an experience with a African shaman that I'd love to tell you guys about. So maybe in the next video, foreshadow. But until then, I'm in the Madikwe private animal reserve in South Africa. This has been Melody Fletcher, and I'm signing off, and I cannot wait to get your comments on this. I love you guys. Thank you for bringing a light to the world. Bye.